We're now going to turn to our third speaker, Murad.
Hello and thank you. Thank you to Marlene. I do not see her here. Thank you to the Central Asia Program for inviting us here. I'm just going to give you a very high-level kind of three-section current state, recent proposals that have been made over the past couple of months, and what should happen. What should happen to improve the current kind of state of affairs. As my fellow speakers have earlier alluded to, there is still remaining for many years now weak external demand, right, for agricultural products, for fruits and vegetables exported from Uzbekistan. President Karimov was in Moscow in the spring of 2016. He talked with President Putin to increase exports of Uzbek horticultural products. Reduce remittances, of course, mentioned by Aziz, from migrant workers who are working in Russia or Kazakhstan and some other parts of the Commonwealth of Independent States. Of course, the low global commodity prices affect government coffers, but the biggest challenges, I believe, remain high inflation as well as unemployment. And those kind of like the current state of affairs for Uzbekistan. Now, as far as the recent proposals over the past couple of months, and there have been quite a few. Now, we have yet to see whether they will ever, come to fruition. But as earlier mentioned, the creation of the Office of the Business Ombudsman at the aegis of the Oli Majlis is a positive sign. Starting from January 1, 2017, the creation of the Office, the unscheduled encounter inspections should improve the business climate as well as the foreign investment climate going forward. It was just recently announced that the 3 free economic zones in Angren, Jizakh, and Naboi will be expanding. I presume that is to address, and by the recognition of the government, that the unemployment rate has to be tackled at some point, which will hopefully lead to more jobs in those free economic zones. Of course, and you have probably heard over the past couple of days the conversion of large state-owned enterprises such as Uzbekistan Airways and Uzbekistan Railroads into joint stock ventures. And there are at least 10 other big entities, including banks and Uzbek oil and gas entity. And there have also been proposals to amend the criminal code, the tax code, and the administrative liability code to again kind of strengthen and build a more favorable climate for businesses, to relieve first-time offenders as well as those conducting business without registration. On the foreign economic policy side, the recent developments with Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan are positive, in my opinion, given the vast water and land disputes between all of these countries. Uzbekistan is heavily dependent on both countries for growing cotton and wheat. And when you have conflicting interests, and in this case, for example, Kyrgyzstan would prefer to release water from its dams in the wintertime, and Uzbekistan does not need water in the wintertime, but over the summer is when you grow cotton and wheat. And so I think the high-level meetings that have taken place recently in Andijan and Osh, and as recently as yesterday, the Uzbek ambassador to Tajikistan announced that there will be high-level talks as far as softening the visa regime between Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, are positive signs. And there are, of course, exclaves and enclaves that Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan still have. And there have been movement between the conversations between the governments of Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan on the limitation. Lastly, what should happen to further strengthen economically, and kind of, as Aziz earlier alluded to, which is very young and growing population to be employed in either the government sector or the private sector. The biggest challenge is still hard currency convertibility, closing the gap between the official and the black market rate. There's not one, there are not two, but four conversion rates currently in the country. And of course, the need to further strengthen the banking and credit system. It has a fairly stable banking system, but the credit system should further be strengthened. And of course, need to further improve the business climate. The World Bank's publication just came out. Uzbekistan stands at 87, unchanged from 2016. I'm sorry, but changed from 2015 when it was 82, and it could be largely for methodological reasons. And of course, maintaining low public debt levels. And I'll give you this one and last number, which is 7.5%, compared to, say, the United States, which currently stands at 102% of GDP.
Well, thank you very much.